Xbox Game Pass is already stuffed with amazing games, but if Xbox's Gamescom show was anything to go by, it looks like we're somehow going to be packing in even more awesomeness into its library in the coming months.
Before we can even get to any of the games though, we have to tell you about the amazing cloud gaming news which dropped during the show. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members have already been enjoying the ability to stream games onto their mobile devices and PCs, but soon they're going to be able to do it on their consoles as well. That means no more waiting for downloads or patches and no more worrying about hard drive space. Just find the game you want to play and boom, you're away. And that's not even the best part. Xbox One gamers will even be able to stream Xbox Series X and S titles to their consoles. So bulldozing barriers between the console generations and guaranteeing that we all get to play together. In short, this is one cloud you'll always be happy to see.
But of course, it's no good to have a bunch of different ways to play if you don't have anything worth playing. Fortunately, that's not a problem that Xbox Game Pass members know anything about. And while the Game Pass library already features more than enough to keep us all going for the present, Gamescom gave us a clearer picture of just how excellent the future is looking, with a whole wave of new titles set to arrive onto the service on day one.
Forza Horizon 5's high-flying Gamescom preview gave us a look at the game's action-packed opening sequence, and it did not disappoint. By the time you've been playing for 10 minutes, you've already rumbled down the side of a volcano in an SUV, whipped through the farmlands in a Corvette Stingray, and whizzed along the US border in what is essentially a road-legal F1 car. And if you could do all that in the first few minutes, just imagine what you'll get up to in the full game. Fortunately, you won't have to imagine much longer, with Forza Horizon 5 screeching onto Game Pass November 9th. And you can now pre-order the game's gorgeous special edition gamepad to really get into the spirit of the Forza Festival.
However, if you can't wait until November to add a splash of colour into your life, then don't worry. Psychonauts 2 arrives on August 25th to blast a whole rainbow's worth of psychedelic sights straight into your brain. After so many years of waiting, we finally get to enjoy the second chapter in Raz's tale as he tries to fulfill his dream of becoming a fully fledged Psychonaut. It promises another wild journey through some of the most bizarre levels any game has ever cooked up, all of which Xbox Series X and S players can enjoy either in 4K or at 120 FPS, my personal favourites, along with some lightning fast load times.
Starring a wandering adventurer who for some reason comes paired with a wisecracking wolf sidekick. Stray Blade is a fantasy hack and slasher which boasts an incredibly fluid combat system that merges patient, counter-attacking guile with split-second timing. It's fabulous. But while you're doing all that hacking and slashing, you'll want to keep an eye on how you're affecting the world around you, because all of your combat actions have consequences. The creatures that you kill stay dead, while any enemy camp you clear out is liable to be taken over by a new batch of foes. So if you want this particular fairy tale to end with a happily ever after, maybe watch where you're swinging that sword.
After a long wait, Age of Empires fans will finally get their hands on the fourth game on October 28th. Because the arc of history is long, but it bends towards awesome strategy games. And while we've already been given plenty of gameplay reasons to get super excited for the new entry, the Gamescom show highlighted another aspect of it which looks really interesting: the hands-on history segments. You'll find these 3 to 5 minute live action videos littered throughout the campaign, with each one focusing on a different element of medieval history. So if you're dying to learn how a trebuchet works, keen to know more about old-fashioned horse taming, or you're just a sucker for traditional Mongolian instrumentation, look no further than Age of Empires 4. Because while the series has always appealed massively to strategy fans of all stripes, the historical setting has also made it a great way to learn about the past in between bouts of intense halberd-wielding drama.
However, Age of Empires won't be the only esteemed historical game challenging for the strategy game crown. Not if Crusader Kings III has anything to say about it anyway. While Age of Empires has you trying to build your legacy through sensible city planning and tactical discipline, Crusader Kings lets you do it through decidingly less respectable but equally effective means of assassination and adultery. The third game isn't just being ported over to Xbox consoles either, it's being completely reworked with a gamepad in mind, to ensure that you feel in total control as you mull over which of your offspring is the least likely to murder you, or the possible benefits of converting to a religion that allows cannibalism.
Gamescom also gave us another sneaky look at The Gunk, a third-person adventure game where you travel from planet to planet, hoovering up the dark goo which is corrupting them and uncovering clues to a larger mystery. The new trailer shows off a stunning range of atmospheric planets, all dark, broody worlds which tower over you and surround you with a sense of foreboding and danger. until you scoop up all the gunk and reveal the vibrant paradises that are hiding underneath. Cleaning up each of these fascinating far-off worlds looks like it could be lawn mowing simulator levels of satisfying, and Xbox Game Pass players will be able to get the job started as soon as the game launches later this year.
The only thing better than a video game is a whole bunch of good video games, and that is exactly what Humble Games will be bringing to Xbox Game Pass in the coming months. Gamescom showed off no fewer than 10 Humble titles, all of which land day one on Xbox Game Pass. God, that feels good to say. We've already got to hit the court for some JRPG-style ball-dodging action in Dodgeball Academia, and that was just the beginning. Game Pass members will soon be sending rockets into the sky in Next Space Rebels, solving sleazy mysteries in Chinatown Detective Agency, and kicking all kinds of ass in Midnight Fight Express. Plus, there's the 2D axe-swinging action of Flynn, Son of the Crimson, the robot-ridden metropolis of Unsighted, and the retro-tech nightmare of Signalis. Or if that all sounds a little bit too intense, you can always enjoy some gentle home decor puzzles of unpacking, or indulge in a little nostalgia with the 8-bit antics of Archvale. The point is, with Humble Games and the Xbox Game Pass working together, you really can't go wrong.
The final new game shown off at Gamescom was Into the Pit, which we don't know a whole lot about other than the fact it looks really metal. Like really metal. Into the Pit is essentially a first-person shooter, where rather than wasting time with guns and bullets, rubbish, you just fire magic bolts straight from your hands, occasionally taking a break to throw up the horns in celebration of an especially slick kill. Beyond that, we don't really know what you'll find down in the titular pit, but since it's hitting Game Pass on October 19th, you'll soon be able to clamber down and find out for yourself.
Now, you might think that would be enough for one year's Gamescom show, but you would be absolutely wrong. We also got wind of a whole bunch of sweet DLC that will be jetting into town real soon. And speaking of jetting, Microsoft Flight Simulator now has more active players than ever before thanks to its console release, and it only looks to get bigger and better from here. For example, the 6th World Update will arrive on September 7th to add even more detailed Germany, Austria and Switzerland, and even more attractive destinations. They already had great chocolate and sausages, but now they're also getting 3D cities, new points of interest, airports, discovery flights and landing challenges. Das ist gut, ja? And that's not all. A new series of planes called Local Legends will be introduced to the game, celebrating some of the lesser known feats of aeronautical achievement from across history. Although if you're more interested in the future than the past, you'll also be able to see Voloport's high-tech sky taxi hovering through the game soon. It looks amazing, you've got to check it out. Plus, if you've got that unshakable need for speed, then look no further. Not only is the game's Top Gun Maverick collaboration on the runway and ready to take flight alongside the movie, but we'll also be seeing the Stihel National Championship air races added to the game, along with the option for competitive multiplayer so that you and your buddies can head towards the danger zone together.
However, if you prefer to travel by sea, then you're also in for a treat, since Sea of Thieves are sporting a collaboration of their very own. Got a question for you. What's yellow, red, and deadly all over? The Mayhem, that's what. A brand new ship inspired by the explosive world of Borderlands. Starting today, players will have a chance to win their own Mayhem by completing a series of challenges, which naturally will involve an unholy outpouring of destruction and chaos, or as Borderlands calls it, a Tuesday. You'll have until September 7th to earn it, so go on, get to it. What are you waiting for?
With that bizarre humour and apocalyptic setting, Wasteland 3 would make for a nice companion piece to any of the Borderlands games, especially when you got your hands on its latest DLC. This latest expansion introduces you to the Cult of Unholy Detonation, a charming group of people who have been exposed to a tad more nuclear radiation than most doctors recommend, transforming them into horrifying mutants who now worship a pre-war science experiment as their god. Who would have thought it? So that's what your Ranger team will be dealing with this time around when the new DLC lands on October 5th. Good luck!
However, if you're looking for a dystopian wasteland with a more familiar feel, State of Decay 2's latest expansion should have you feeling right at home. Homecoming arrives as a free update on September 1st, and with it you'll be able to lead your fellow survivors back to Trumbull Valley for the third chapter in a saga which began with the first game and continued through the last update, Heartland. Don't even think you can let your guard down just because you're back in familiar territory though. The map has been totally remastered and now boasts all sorts of nasty new surprises, as well as a few sick new weapons to help you deal with them. Handy. Thanks so much for watching the video, remember to subscribe and we'll see you next time. Bye!